You're listening to Papilio Effect. I'm your host, Jody. Welcome back to another episode where we explore the ideas that shape the way we see the world. Today's episode is called Rewriting History, Recently Uncovered Historical Corrections. Now, before you panic and think, wait, or are they changing history again? Let's clear something up. History itself never changes. The past is fixed. What changes is our understanding of it. Imagine putting together a 10,000-piece puzzle while only having half the pieces. You'd probably get a pretty good picture. But it wouldn't be complete. Every year, archaeologists, historians, linguists, and scientists discover new pieces of that puzzle. Sometimes those discoveries confirm what we already believed. Sometimes they completely change it. Today, we're looking at a few fascinating examples. Let's start with one of history's biggest mysteries. Pompeii. Most people know the story. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted and buried the Roman city beneath volcanic ash. For centuries, people thought Pompeii had simply disappeared. Then, archaeologists uncovered an entire city frozen in time. Homes, shops, paintings, graffiti, even loaves of bread still sitting in ovens. Pompeii completely transformed our understanding of everyday life in the Roman Empire, not through ancient stories, but through physical evidence. Here's another example. For a long time, many historians believed that the Vikings were mainly violent raiders. And yes, they certainly could be. But recent archaeological discoveries and DNA research have painted a much more complete picture. The Vikings were also traders, explorers, craftspeople, farmers, and settlers. Researchers have even found that Viking societies included people from diverse backgrounds across Europe and beyond. The stereotype wasn't entirely wrong. It just wasn't the whole story. Now let's talk about one of the most famous lost cities in history. Troy. For centuries, many scholars believed the city described in Homer's Iliad was nothing more than mythology. Then, in the 19th century, excavations revealed the remains of an ancient city in what is now Turkey. Today, historians still debate exactly how much of Homer's story reflects real events. But one thing changed forever. Troy wasn't simply an imaginary place. New evidence forced historians to rethink centuries of assumptions. Another exciting area is ancient DNA. Just a few decades ago, historians could only guess how ancient people migrated across the world. Now scientists can study DNA preserved in ancient bones. These discoveries have revealed that people moved, traded, and mixed with one another far more than historians once believed. Human history isn't a story of isolated civilizations. It's a story of connection. Technology has also changed archaeology in incredible ways. Scientists now use satellites to spot buried cities hidden beneath forests and deserts. Ground-penetrating radar allows researchers to see what's underground without digging. Laser scanning, known as LiDAR, has uncovered entire ancient cities hidden beneath dense jungle canopies. Civilizations that were once invisible are becoming visible again. Sometimes history changes because we finally learn to read ancient languages. A perfect example is the Rosetta Stone. Before it was deciphered, historians relied heavily on what other civilizations wrote about Egypt. After scholars unlocked Egyptian hieroglyphs, Egyptians could finally tell their own story. Imagine reading a book where you've only ever had access to one chapter. Suddenly, thousands of new pages become available. That's what happened. History also changes when forgotten documents are discovered. Letters hidden in attics. Shipwrecks at the bottom of the sea. government files that remain classified for decades before being released. Each new source gives historians another opportunity to check whether earlier conclusions still hold up. That's how good history works. It isn't about protecting old ideas. It's about following the evidence. But here's something important. Not everyone uses the phrase rewriting history honestly. Sometimes governments or powerful groups really do try to erase uncomfortable parts of the past. That's not the same thing as historical research. Real historical revision follows evidence. Propaganda ignores it. The goal of history isn't to make us comfortable. It's to make us more accurate. There's an important lesson here that goes beyond history. Changing your mind isn't a weakness. It's one of the strongest things a person can do. Scientists update theories when new evidence appears. Historians revise conclusions when new discoveries are made. Good detectives change their minds when better clues appear. Maybe we should do the same in our own lives. Being willing to say, I didn't know that, or I was mistaken, isn't embarrassing. It's how learning works. So the next time you hear someone say, a history has been rewritten, don't immediately assume something dishonest is happening. Ask a better question. What new evidence did we find? Because history isn't a finished book. It's an investigation that's still unfolding. Every excavation, every ancient manuscript, every DNA sample, and every newly discovered artifact adds another piece to humanity's story. And who knows? Maybe one of the biggest historical discoveries hasn't been made yet. Perhaps someone listening today will be the person who uncovers it. Thank you for listening to Papilio Effect. Until next time, keep asking questions, stay curious, and never stop learning.